Welcome to SKML Chess Academy. In the last video, we have seen King's Gambit accepted and King's Gambit declined. Here in this video, we will be discussing Danish Gambit. In the Danish Gambit occurs when white plays e4, e5, d4, e into d4, c3. This is the Danish Gambit. If d into e3, bishop e3, bishop c4, because here it is accepted. uh, Bishop c4 is played. White gives up 2 pawns to get an excellent diagonals for his bishops. Black can, if he wishes, accept everything and holds on to it. But even though his position may be theoretically adequate, the attack is extremely hard to make. Instead, he can force a favorable simplification by 4 c into b2, bishop into b2. Here he can play d5. Sorry, this is the d5 here. d5. After d5, d5, b into d5. Here, if we place here in d5, if we place e into d5, it blocks the critical diagonal a to f7. So it is better to take with bishop into d5. Then here, black develops is king side knight, knight f6. Here, bishop into f7, king into f7. White is not winning the queen, but it's temporarily winning the queen. So black has a repetition. Bishop b4, queen d2, bishop into b2, knight into d2. Here he plays c5. So here black has much the better of the ending because his queen side pawn majority can advance rapidly. Then there are two more scenarios. What happens if white gives up only one pawn or black takes only one pawn? So let us see. Now here the game e4, e5, d4, e into d4, c3. Here plays d into c3. Here, instead of bishop c4, white plays knight into c3, offering only one pawn. Then he plays knight c6. Black must make sure that his pawn position on the king side will not be ruined. This should not be ruined. This pawn positions on the here in this criteria, black must be aware that not to allow white to disturb his queen side pawns. So knight c6, bishop c4, d6. Here he plays queen b3. Here queen c is safeguarding. Knight f3. Here he has an excellent move, knight a5. So one of the queen or bishop has to be exchanged. So the exchanges, normally these exchanges are the best way to reduce the force of an attack. This is how when white himself is not offering the second pawn and is capturing the pawn on the c3. So let us see another scenario where e4, e5, d4, e into d4, 3d into c3, bishop c4. So here in this position it is offering, white is offering the pawn, but black does not accept it. He simply advances his d6. So here black is aiming for the speedy development of his pieces. True way of playing the gambit. So then knight into c3, knight c6, knight f3, knight c6, knight f3, bishop e6. This is the best way to reduce the string out of the when if white tries to play queen to b3, so it can be taken care of. So that is how this Danish Gambit accepted is being played. Now let us see what happens if the Danish band Danish Gambit is declined. So actually there is no good way to decline the first pawn. So e4, e5, d4. There is no good way declining the first pawn, since the center would then be imperiled. But after e into d4, c3, d5 can be played. D5 can be played and d5 is expected and is quite sufficient. Then e into d5 virtually forced when either queen into d5 with queen into d5, c into d4, knight c6, knight f3, bishop g4, developing and bringing pressure to bear on the d pawn, because this knight cannot be now moved now. So there is a more this pawn is being attacked by queen and knight, and it can be only protected by the queen. Although it is protected by the knight, at the moment knight cannot be moved. So knight c3 attacking the queen, bishop b4. So this is one way of not play as not accepting the gambit. The second pawn. So another way is after instead of 4 queen into d5, here after e into d5, another way of playing this line is developing his knight queen f6. Here c into d4, bishop b4 check, bishop d2, bishop into d2, queen into d2, and castles. It is good enough equality, and please observe that in this gambit line how black is initiating a speedy development. That's all in this video. We have covered Danish Gambit in this video. Uh, Next video we'll be seeing Vienna Gambit, then Scotch Gambit and Evans Gambit. Afterwards, after once we close this gambits, we finished with E4, E5 gambits. We will be move on to E4 other openings. Means one E4, it's not E5, maybe it's played C6 or played E6. Thank you for your cooperation. Please continue your cooperation by subscribing and by sharing and by liking my videos. Thank you once more and goodbye.